The purpose of these predictions is not to warn you, it's not to predict what's actually going to happen. It is to create a panic and then get us socialism by the back door. This sounds almost conspiratorial. If I didn't have the video, I guess you wouldn't have to believe me, but it just keeps happening. All the predictions from the late 60s to the 70s to the 80s. The whole world is going to end in 10 years if you don't give us socialism. And then what happens? 10 years goes by and the world doesn't end and everything's perfectly fine and their predictions are all wrong. And they tell us, no, but it's really going to end in 10 years if you don't give us socialism. It's all about taking control of your property, of your liberty, of your government. It is about, coincidentally, they say, this environmental catastrophe that's going to destroy the world, just coincidentally, requires that you have to give the political left every single policy they've wanted for 100 years. That's the only way to solve it and save the world. And this is why, just a little bit of a side note, there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal that came out today, said some Republican lawmakers break with their party on climate change. So the GOP has not taken climate change or global warming or global cooling or whatever you want to call it today very seriously because they have understood, as I've just explained, that it is socialism by the back door. Now some younger Republicans want to be super hip cool guys or something and say that we have to take global warming seriously. We don't. This is especially true of Matt Gaetz. He's a Republican lawmaker. I actually like the guy. I think generally he's pretty good. He's just dead wrong on this. Matt Gaetz was the one who a couple months ago offered the Green Real Deal, and he was going to have the Republican response to take on global warming. It's just a bad move. This is not to say that Republicans shouldn't take the environment seriously. Of course we should protect the environment. Every Republican I know wants to protect the environment, conserve the environment, have beautiful public spaces. Having beautiful spaces and preserving nature is a very conservative virtue. Conservatives conserve. But that's not the same thing as global warming. That's a very different thing than global warming. Because global warming is not about environmental protection. It's just about socialism. The purpose of these predictions, whether it's this guy from the Obama administration or it's AOC saying the world is going to end in 9 or 10 years, just give us all your money. The purpose of it is to demoralize people. The purpose of it is to convince people that everything is predetermined. It's no coincidence that right now so much of the left is denying free will. You see it in Sam Harris, you see it in the New Atheists, you see it in a ton of left-wing Silicon Valley. It's in the pop culture. We're being told our free will is an illusion. Really, we're just drawn by unconscious forces. Our emotion is leading us. It's anything but will. The left has always done this. This is nothing new. This is not some cool new futuristic idea out of Silicon Valley. The left has said this forever. The early socialists and communists, 100 and 150 years ago, they said that they had discovered the science of history. They used this phrase, the science of history. This is the famous reporter Lincoln Steffens, who visited the Soviet Union. He famously said, "I've seen the future and it works." There's the future. History is not moved by the individual choices of individuals. It's moved by great environmental, economic forces that we cannot control. We're just brought along on the tides of history. And actually, the modern conservative movement in the United States after World War II, founded by William F. Buckley Jr., was set up exactly in opposition to this idea. So you had Lincoln Steffens saying, "I've seen the future and it works." The socialists saying, "This is the future, this is the science of history, get ready, get on board." And then you have the conservative William F. Buckley Jr., who said, in the first issue of National Review, he said, "A conservative is one who stands athwart history yelling, 'Stop.'" Oh, you socialists and communists, you think you have the science of history? You think there's no stopping it? I'm a conservative and I'm going to stand here and I am going to say, stop. And that's what we're doing. We're saying, no, will does matter. Your predictions don't come true. You don't know the science of history. You don't know the future. Your predictions are bogus, and you're not going to use those crazy, fear-mongering predictions to get us to give up our liberty and our property and our freedom.